Magandang gabi po and welcome to our kids, our parents, and everyone watching Kwentuhang Pambata. This is a very special project of your Filipino Consulate in New York in partnership with our super friends from the Filipino community. This is a strange time for all of us, but it's always a great opportunity to learn. Tonight, we have a beautiful cuento or story and a chance to learn Filipino, our national language, and a bit of Filipino culture as well. Our first cuento was told on May 8th. So many people loved it, and I would like to invite you to see some of the artwork and videos from last week's episode 2. That time, we featured Vanessa Manzano of the Filipino School of New York and New Jersey, who read the story Beautiful Eyes by Gail Romasanta.
Ang aking mata ay maganda.
Mata. Mata. Mata.
Ang aking ilong
Ilong. Ilong. Ilong.
ang aking tainga
Tinga. Tinga.
ang aking bibig
Big. Bibig.
ang aking buhok ang aking kamay
Kamay.
10 daliri
Isa, dalawa, tatlo, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, Isa, dalawa, tatlo, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,
ang aking paa paalam
Paalam.
Our storyteller for this episode is Miss Jamie Mariano. She is a teacher in New Jersey who helps high school students with special needs. Before that, Jamie was a preschool teacher, which makes her perfect for tonight. Jamie is also a member of the Filipino-American Community and Development Center of Ocean County in New Jersey. This organization has the Filipino-American Cultural Enrichment Studies Program, or FACES, that teaches all about our unique Filipino heritage and culture. So now let's welcome Miss Jamie Mariano.
Hello everyone, my name is Jamie and I am so excited to be part of this episode of Kwentuhang Pambata. I am a Filipino-American. I was born here in the United States, and growing up I did not speak Tagalog. So I know that some of you boys and girls also don't speak the language, and maybe just like myself, your mom or your dad don't speak Tagalog either. So tonight we are going to be learning together. After I read the story, we are going to review some words in Tagalog from the book. Tonight's story is a legend. Legends are very popular and a big part of Philippine culture. If you don't know what a legend is a story that explains how something came to be. So tonight's story is The Legend of the Fly. In Tagalog, the title is Alamat ng Langaw, and it was written by Segundo de Matias Jr. and illustrated by Beth Barocha Doctolero. So this story is about a king who was never satisfied with anything that his cook makes for him for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Let's get started. A very long time ago, somewhere in the world, in a place beyond recall, there was a king whose name was Langaw. He ruled over a vast kingdom. The kingdom was of great renown because food was plentiful there. Fruits and vegetables were always in great abundance. The animals also had plenty to eat, and so they were strong and healthy. But King Langaw had a rather bad habit. "Send for the cook," he barked at the servant one morning as he sat before the table. "What is the matter, beloved king?" Senyang the cook asked when she appeared. "The rice. This rice does not taste good." "What do you not like about the rice, beloved king?" the cook nervously asked once again. "I cannot eat this. It's mushy. And the sinigang you cooked, it isn't sour enough. As for these vegetables, they're tasteless. And this roast pig, why isn't it crisp? I can't possibly eat these. I've lost my appetite." The king angrily swept the dishes off the table. Senyang the cook had no choice but to pick up the food from the floor. Unfortunately, King Langaw did not like the way Senyang the cook made sinigang. But sinigang is actually a very well-liked and popular dish from the Philippines. And if you've ever had it, and if you like it, raise your hands. I like sinigang. Several days went by. Enemy forces from another kingdom attacked a large portion of the kingdom. From the window, King Langaw witnessed the battle between his army and the invaders. Many of his men were wounded and killed. The battle did not last long. The invaders claimed victory. "Forgiveness, beloved king. The enemy soldiers are too great in number. Their weapons are innumerable too, and all modern." The leader of the army explained why half the kingdom was captured by the invaders. But King Langaw was not alarmed by the events. What concerned him more was finding out which dish would be served to him at mealtime. Imagine a king more concerned about food than his kingdom losing a battle. Once at the dining table, "Senyang, Senyang," the king barked. "How many times do I have to tell you I do not want to have the same dish twice?" This dish was served for lunch, and now for dinner, this again? Don't I keep reminding you that all the time? Never, ever serve the same dish twice, he angrily told the cook. "But, beloved king, there was so much of it left over. What a waste it would be to prepare a new dish," the cook softly explained. "I don't care." Having said this, the king threw the food off the table. Once again, Senyang the cook picked up the dishes thrown to the floor. Think about it when your parents make you something to eat and you either don't like it and don't want to eat it, or you waste it by not eating all of it and you just throw it away. That's how Senyang the cook feels right now about King Langaw wasting the food. "What a waste. I should have given all of this food to my hungry children," Senyang the cook thought. She often could not help saying this to herself whenever she had to pick up the food the king threw off the table. In her mind, she could see her children enjoying a good meal at the dining table. "What a waste," she whispered. A few days later, the invaders attacked King Langaw's kingdom once again. They were able to enter the palace. The invaders drove out King Langaw and took all of his possessions and riches. All his soldiers and servants also left him, except for Senyang the cook, who remained loyal to him. King Langaw begged the invaders to let him stay in the palace storehouse because he had nowhere else to live. They agreed to his request. Once, as he was eating, "Senyang, Senyang," he shouted angrily. "Yes, beloved king? Why have you served kayos? I don't eat kayos. You know that." "I've lost my appetite. I'm not eating anymore." He threw the food served on the table. Out of some inexplicable passion, anger burst from Senyang the cook's chest. "I've had quite enough of you." Don't you know that every dish you throw from this table is precious to me? My children are going hungry at home. If I gave them all of this food which you keep throwing away, not only would they be very glad, but I would be able to give them what they need to grow healthy and strong. You are much too choosy and hard to please about what you eat. You ought to eat whatever you are served. From now on, you shall eat all of the food that I serve you." King Langaw was left speechless by what he heard from the cook. "You should be punished by Badala and all the gods and goddesses for your wrong behavior." King Langaw was not able to answer. A strange sensation suddenly came over him. Little by little, his body became smaller and he could no longer speak. "I hope you will also think of all the people who are starving before you start throwing food on the floor." But Sanyang the cook was interrupted from speaking when she saw the king's appearance begin to change. Little by little, King Langaw's eyes grew bigger and bigger. They even bulged out. His body continued to get smaller and smaller. What is he starting to look like? Sanyang the cook witnessed the king's entire transformation. He grew wings. Then his body burst apart, and from within it there emerged an insect. King Langaw had become an insect. It began flying around and afterwards headed straight for the food. Sanyang was shocked and quickly ran out of the storehouse. She would never forget what happened. From that time on, every time Sanyang the cook cooked, she always found that insect in the kitchen. Even when she had gone to work in another kingdom, she always saw it, flying around the kitchen and in the dining room, settling on the food. Whenever she went to the market, the insect tagged along, settled on the basket she carried. The insect settled on every kind of food it saw, not choosy about food at all, and it settled even on excrements as well. And so, every time Sanyang the cook found this insect she called Langaw, in the kitchen or on the dining table, she would shoo it away. Yes, she would shoo away the former king she used to serve, who became the first Langaw, or fly. And that is the story of the legend of the fly. Okay? And I know I said in the beginning that we would learn some Tagalog words together. And as you can see, the title of the story is called Alamat ng Langaw, the legend of the fly. So, from the title, we know that the Tagalog word for legend is alamat. So, repeat after me. Alamat, legend. One more time. Alamat, legend. Good job. Now, something that I want to point out is the way King Langaw spells his name. Okay? It is Lang-A-O. Langaw. Langaw. Why is that important? Because the word fly for Tagalog, in Tagalog, according to the book, comes from King Langaw's name. So King Langaw spelled his name like this, and the Tagalog word for fly is actually Langaw. So repeat after me. Langaw. Fly. Say it again. Langaw. Fly. Very good. Langaw was the king. So to say king in Tagalog, it is Hari. Repeat after me. Hari. King. One more time. Hari. King. Okay? And we know that Sanyang was his loyal cook. Even though King Langaw did not treat Sanyang the cook very well, she stayed with him no matter what. So to say cook in Tagalog, it is kusinera. Repeat after me. Kusinera. Cook or chef. One more time. Kusinera. Chef or cook. Very good. And obviously, cooks make food. So the Tagalog word for food is pagkain. Repeat after me. Pagkain. Food. One more time. Pagkain. Pagkain. Food. Good job. So I have some suggestions for activities that you can do with your family based on the legend of the fly. The first suggestion I have is to actually draw your own fly. Put your own personality into it. Put your own spin on it, with your favorite colors, maybe a team logo, anything like that. Because as you can see, this is King Langaw before his transformation into the fly. As we know, it's Langaw in Tagalog. And this is him as a fly. So you can see that King Langaw still kind of looks like himself. So I thought it would be fun if you drew a fly with your own personality in it. Another activity that I suggest you do is research other legends. As I mentioned in the beginning, legends are popular and a big part of Philippine culture. So if you want to go online and research other legends from the Philippines, I thought that would be a fun activity. And the third suggestion I have is to actually create your own legend. Remember, the Tagalog word for legend is Alamat. So think about an object or an animal and come up with a fun, creative explanation as to how it came to be. Okay? And if you do any of these activities, you can send a video or a photo of anything that you've done, or even a picture of you and your family watching this story. So if you do decide to share what you've done, you can email it to either your photo or your video. You can email it to newyorkpcg.events@dfa.gov.ph. Okay? Again, it's newyorkpcg.events@dfa.gov.ph. And if you want to post social media, the hashtag for this is hashtag Kwentuhang Pambata. Again, the hashtag is Kwentuhang Pambata. So there it is on your screen. I hope you enjoyed the story as much as I did, The Legend of the Fly. It was such an honor and a privilege to read to you. So I hope you learned some words right along with me. Have a good night and take care.